Hello everyone, my name is Eric Terramons, and today we're going to be checking out Alter's Azur Lane statue of Formidable, and she is quite formidable indeed. There's only one version of this figure, so you can't get one that doesn't have the rigging, although her rigging is pretty simplistic despite all the details on it. It's not comparable to someone like Eugen or perhaps Baltimore, but it is exceptionally well done nevertheless, and it is still formidable. She also comes with this cute little winky face. It's adorable. Two little miniature aircrafts. I believe that they're Spitfires, but they might be Hurricanes from World War II, specifically the Royal Navy. I don't know. If you know exactly which ones, please write so in the comments below. I'm actually pretty curious. Sweet, sweet Formidable. My goodness. I freaking love Azur Lane so much. I'm a huge fan of the video game. I love so many of the character designs, and my favorite artist of all time, like in anything ever, is an artist named Kinkora, and she drew this beautiful character right here. So when they decided to make a figure of her, I was Day one pre-order. But she cost me so much at the time that I had gotten her, especially considering shipping rates were extremely high. So is she worth it? Let's find out by delving deep into all of the little details, nooks and crannies of this gorgeous statue made by Alter. She's a scale figure at 1:7, and she's pretty big and quite hefty. Starting off with the base, it's nothing really special, but it does have that Azur Lane vibe to it. She has the cute little design that says HMS Formidable, and it has that lovely Royal Navy faction logo. It's the same kind of base that you get from Baltimore or even Prince Eugen. This just seems to be something that I guess Alter likes to do. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't hate it either. I mean, it's a base. It's big, it's solid, and it makes it so that she's very stable, but she's still a little wobbly because, you know, there's not that much of her that's touching the ground here, other than this one single foot. Her hair is also a very successfully done load-bearing piece for the whole figure. Again, I know I mentioned it earlier with Eugen, but I would have preferred to see something like water rushing around her or anything like that, similar to that amazing Abyssal Fleet Kantai collection character of the WoW-class aircraft carrier. That base is so fantastic. I just want bases like that on all my Azur Lane characters. Well, I guess just the ones that look like they're in action. Moving up from there, we get into her shoes, which are cute and dainty. They look very, very pretty, and they're really nicely done. They're pearlized, which is cute. She is very maid-ish, although I don't think she's a maid in the series. I believe she's kind of like one of the high-class people that the maids cater to, but she's got lace all over her, and it's gorgeous. In the back of these cute high heels, she has these awesome little rudders. They look beautiful, so boaty, and I just think it's cool. And it's kind of cute how you see the back of her foot where there's nothing that really connects into it. So it looks like she just slides her foot into the front of this shoe. We then see this gorgeous little ankle lace design here as well, with a cute little ribbon and a tie off on the side. The ankle piece actually connects and goes underneath her foot. And this is kind of where I imagine it would connect into the shoe, perhaps, so the whole ankle piece might be part of the shoe to begin with. Now getting into her stockings, which are white and slightly transparent. They actually put some highlights on here that are her skin tone, so it really has that stretched over her skin vibe. Unfortunately, mine has a mild paint blemish scratch on it, which sucks, but you know, I guess this happens every now and then. And it's not enough to really deter me from my love for this figure. So being the high-class figure that she is, they actually work up them legs, and you actually see the end of her stockings where they kind of connect into some underpants, and you get to see pretty much everything if you're going to look up that skirt, which actually does kind of poof outwards, so you can get a little peek every now and then depending on the angle you put it on, which is pretty spicy and feels like something Formidable would want to do as a manipulative tactic to get the attention of her captain. This figure in no way is a takedown or take apart or swappable body pieces. She doesn't have any of that. It seems like she could have, considering the amount of detail that they put into her body underneath it, but you know what? She looks so gorgeous and so much like the illustration. I'm really happy they didn't do it. I find a lot of times when you have take-apart figures, it's really rare that everything holds up with the quality. That, the price is usually like double, and this figure is already so expensive that I'm just happy that, you know, I'm just really happy to have her. Now, as for this dress, Oh my goodness. There is so many details with the folds and the fluffs and the ruffles and the lace and the everything. There's just so much going on here. So let's tackle it from the beginning. On the front, we have this gorgeous material that's down at the bottom, kind of like a lacy fluff. I don't know the proper terminology for a lot of this stuff, so I'm just gonna kind of make up words or sound effects that might seem like that's what it is. So we have these kerfuffles down at the bottom that are white. There's gorgeous highlights along with beautiful shading that's all a little bit colder, very similar to the illustration. It's amazing. It almost feels sometimes when you're looking at this that you're looking at a drawing, which is really, really fantastic. We don't get so much the amount of color all over this figure when it comes to her dress, but we do get so much detail in the sculpture, and they work so hard on it so that it feels different from one another. I feel like this figure could have really benefited from having a bit more textures, because a lot of it is smoothed out. However, the smoothed outness really does make it look like the illustration. So it's hard to say, oh, they could have done this or that to make it pop or make it look a little nicer or a little bit more shiny here or there or gloss here or there. But the drawing doesn't have that, and it really does look like the drawing. We have the beautiful little wing designs that kind of come from the front and go along the side of the dress. And this is where they try and take advantage of putting in more color, because everything on her is really drab. And that's okay. That's what she looks like. That's what she represents. She has other things to try and attract your attention, and it's totally her amazing personality in this game. It is so funny, and she's just such a great character. I think she's one of the heaviest characters too in the game. And they always make jokes about it, and she's so adorable. Like, I love this character. As we spin her around and look at all the extra details in the back, everything really blows out all over the place, and it's so cute. One thing I would have liked to have seen is that they put so much detail on her legs going up into her body underneath the dress, but inside the dress they didn't really do anything. This is something that Good Smile Company had done in their Rem figure that I thought was so impressive, whereas this could have benefited from that. The inside of her dress here, especially where it comes out in the back, is so boring. There's nothing going on. And they could have added something, because it's not like the illustration really highlights on that either. But from the back, it still looks terrific. And you know what? It does look very anime. I mean, I keep saying this. It's just, you know, I'm trying to be more objective about this review, because this is one of my top 5 favorite figures of all time, despite there being actually quite a few little QC issues or gripes that I have with the sculpt to begin with. As we move up on the back, we have these beautiful tails with tons of folded fabrics on top of folded fabrics. Very elegant, very beautiful, and it goes all the way up into her back, where then we have something that, I guess this is like one of the first parts that kind of disappoints me a little bit, because they didn't put that much shading, and it just doesn't pop out like it should. So her back is laced together to create the corset she's wearing, but the rope and everything is the same quality. It's just like sculpted in. It's not an extra piece of material to go on top of it. It just looks flat, and I would have really loved to see them make something a little more unique here. The rope should have been black. I'm just gonna say that we don't see her back in the video game, so they had the chance to be a little creative here, and had they made it black, it would have looked nicer, it would have popped a little more, and it would have just given it that elegant touch. The white on top of white would be fine if maybe we had a little more pearlized look going on here, or some textures to make certain things pop a bit more. We don't, so it's a little bit of a disappointment, despite it being excellently sculpted. Then we get to her back, which is beautiful. It's just so lovely. The skin tone is very soft, and the sculpture is so nicely done. It actually looks the way it should look for somebody holding up their dress like this. You get a bit of muscle in there. I love the line that you have for her spine. It's really, really well sculpted. We have the top part of her dress here, where as we go to the front, it's, what do they call that again?
How am I supposed to make the perfect boob bag if I don't have the right measurements?
Boob bag?
Yeah, I really want to give this part some extra love, so I'm gonna need you to psych yourself up.
Thanks, Kitagawa. That's exactly it. And she is sporting quite the large one. This is ridiculous, but at the same time, it's her. You know what? I'm gonna be... Well, you know what? Honestly, and it's very well done. It still feels kind of realistic despite its unrealistic proportions. The details that we have on the bag are amazing. They come out really great. Top part, it's beautiful. And then we have that cute little tie which has so much shading to it going through the center, and it connects into this really beautiful gold clip that goes into her neck. And this thing is just so nice. I would say it's the focal point of the entire figure, because when you look at the front of her, it's so detailed, and then it gets so soft, and there's not that much detail, and all of a sudden we have this shiny gold item, where the rest of her is very muted colors. Her neck piece is really cute. It has all these little designs that kind of make me think of valedictorian, or maybe something you'd find perhaps in a Christian church. We have something that seems like an upside down fleur-de-lis in the back, and I just think it looks very cute, very regal, and it really elongates her neck in a way that makes her just seem so posh and so in charge, and it's just a nice neck collar. Her shoulders have these gorgeous little clips on them with a cute little plus, and as we go down from the shoulders, I just really love this part. We have these laces attaching along the side of her shoulder. This is the sort of thing I would have liked to see on her back, so it's really nice to see it here. The folds and stretches in the plastic going down these arm pieces are fantastic, all the way to where she's holding her dress, and it's cute how she's holding it. It looks like she's holding it elegantly but very firmly, and she actually has black nail polish on. That is very goth of you, Formidable. I love it. I love it so much. I think it's kind of unexpected, you know, even when I got the figure, I hadn't even noticed until just now. I don't know why, I just thought it would be regular pink or kind of like the shine on her lips, but my goodness, the black nail polish, that is so cool. She comes off all regal and so posh and on top of the world, but I think she's pretty edgy and hardcore. For any of you X-Men fans out there, she really gives off those Emma Frost vibes. Not just in look, but in personality as well. The face. The face is my favorite part of the entire figure. This is a gorgeous figure. I love it. It's one of my favorite figures of all time. But that face, oh my goodness. So this is exactly like the picture. It's so spot on to King Korra's illustration. I love it so much. I would almost say it's my favorite face out of every anime figure I've ever gotten. It's hard because I really like my big smiling faces, and this one's not. She's kind of pouty, but I just love it so much. I just love the way the eyes are done, the face is done, all of this. I was so heavily inspired by the way she draws her faces that I've incorporated a couple of the elements within my own illustrations. I just love it so much. They give her a little bit of shine on her lips, which is adorable, and she's got that little pouty look. I guess it's a bit more of a smirk, but at the same time with the eyebrows kind of raised and the way she's looking at you, it feels as though she's trying to make you feel somewhat inferior. The eyes are incredibly soft, and there's not much black there. They make the eyelashes smooth, and everything's kind of redded out to go with the actual eyeballs that she has, which don't have any black in the iris as well. This is what creates the entire design and look to the whole figure, because just doing that really mutes things out again, but it allows other parts to pop really well. And despite its softer use of colors on the eyes, it still sticks out very nicely. She comes with this alternate winky face where you gotta remove the front part of her bangs to put it in. The little winky face is adorable. I really love that you see her earrings, which you get to see on her as well. It's just the earrings kind of get hidden behind her hair. But I'm all about this posh, superior look because I don't have a lot of figures that have that. Her hair is then split up into two twin tails that look amazing, and the pieces holding them together and separating them in the first place are these beautiful bow ribbons that look so gorgeous with all their coloring. The amount of detail we get on the top and on the underside is phenomenal, and I just think how the ropes droop around her hair and everything, it is really, really beautiful. I can't believe how nice these hair pieces are. Then getting into her actual hair, it's amazing. The only real line that you get on the top part would be the piece that's removed in order to remove the main faceplate. It actually seams in really nicely, so that's a plus. As we get into the back, it just looks so gorgeous. Everything's so stretched out, not in a straight line. It really kind of zigzags. We get highlights, we get shading. It is overall incredibly good. Then we have the twin tails drooping down, and as I said at the beginning, they're actually a load-bearing piece for her that help hold her up. This is really clever, very well done, and we don't have like transparent like poles anywhere holding her because the hairs are what do it. This is awesome. However, these strands are so incredibly ambitious, it must have been quite formidable for the sculptor to start getting in on it, because I gotta tell you, they are only okay. I mean, Okay, they're incredible. It's just that here's where you start to see a lot of sectioned off pieces of plastic, and I feel like they could have done a better job with it. As we look at the back where the rigging comes out, you can see where some of the strands just kind of plug into different parts of her hair. It's kind of ugly. I mean, at this point, why not just make it curl up at the end, so that way it feels like it's another strand, or you could have had it curl to the side. Anything but trying to make it mesh or meld within the hair that's flat and already there, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. The main back part where everything droops down is beautiful, it looks terrific, and I have no complaints there. It is so nice. All the little twirls and curves, everything that we see at the bottom, and how it flays out here and there is just so expertly done. It looks beautiful, and the fact that they put them all there, I mean, this girl's hair is everywhere, and they really worked hard on this. Now, the pieces connecting along the back are kind of an eyesore, but you don't really see it because it's on the back. So if you look at the figure the way you're supposed to be looking at her, with her name facing you, it's not noticeable. What is kind of noticeable is the piece on the front. So this is a piece that I can't believe they did this like that. I would have had it glue way up into her hair if they were going to do it. But I hate this. You can see it literally coming out from nowhere, and it doesn't really form nicely, and then it's just glued there. Like, what the heck, as it falls down to the front of her body. It's a beautifully well sculpted piece, it's just not inserted nicely. And when we see her other side of her hair, you can see one as well going down the main strand where it looks like they really tried to hide it in there, but it's just not done well. Again, if you're looking at her from the very front where it says HMS Formidable, you don't notice any of these things from a straight on point of view. It's just that when you look at her from a straight on point of view, or from the back view, you're gonna get this. And finally, I saved her rigging for last. It's pretty simple, but it's effective, and it looks like in the game, and it looks like in the illustration. So it's nice. I like it quite a bit. It's like beautiful, cute little wings to give this beautiful, poshy fairy of sorts, or angel, I don't know what you want to call it. The main boat piece that connects into her back is awesome. I love it. It looks beautiful. There's so many tiny little details all over. It's really well done. And it's cute. I would have maybe perhaps liked to see some differences in grays here or there, so things could have stuck out a little more. I know that we get this little antenna up the top for her communication tower, which actually is a different plastic that you're going to insert in there when you get her, but it's just not enough. I would have liked a couple more breaks here and there, which kind of goes with the rest of the figure. You don't even really see it in the real illustration. I'm guessing maybe they got it from the game Azur Crosswaves, where you can see her a little bit more, but it's just to say I would have liked to see a couple more color variation there. When we get into her landing strips, they look so good. I freaking love them. They have some highlights on them as well with a little bit of shading. They're beautiful. They look like gorgeous wavy pieces of material that kind of mesh well with the rest of her, and having her hair droop over all of it just feels like it's a part of her. It's not something they just stuck there. She's used to wearing this sort of thing, and that's what it's like. This is part of her body. This figure, though, it doesn't come off. So don't try, you're gonna break it. You get these cute little guns when you get her. You have to install them yourself. Be incredibly careful. These are the things where if you put the wrong gun in the wrong position, trying to take it off afterwards, it's gonna snap and it's gonna break. You need to be very careful. I've seen a couple people on the My Figure Collection website, when they got her, they were crying because it just snaps. It's so fragile. And how you're gonna put them in, it's not necessarily easy. You gotta put a bit of muscle there. So don't just thumbtack it on. Put your other hand in there, take your time, go nice and slow, and apply the pressure that you need to without damaging it, because you don't want to crack, snap, or break this figure. She's a little bit expensive. She's pricey, and she likes it that way. Now talking about these little planes, which again, I wasn't sure if it was the Hawk or the Spitfire, they are super cute. I like that there's some shading and highlights and gradients to their coloring, so they don't just look like a solid silver. This is the sort of coloring and gradient I would have liked to see put on the back boat piece of Formidable, but you know what, moving on here. So they look really, really great. When I had pre-ordered her, I almost wanted to order a couple of micro machines of other planes from World War II that I could have equipped with her and made my own stands to have a couple of planes as a good loadout. I never got around to doing it, but I think it would have been cool. If only those micro machines weren't like exclusive limited edition World War II ones that are worth so much money. Although this was a while ago, so maybe they're cheaper now. Cause that's how collectibles work. They just go down, right? We get the beautiful logos all over it. They're actually the same logos that you're going to find in the World War II plane. Isn't that interesting? I mean, they could have gone out of their way to put the actual logo on there and make it more thematic to the game, but they chose to keep it World War II accurate. This game is amazing. We get different colors for the tiny little windows, which is beautiful. We get a beautiful propeller that's a different color. We even get the wheels. Like, this is the kind of thing where they put so much work in the paint applications to these that I'm just a little surprised, considering we should have gotten more on Formidable. Upon her release, she was 31,800 yen. That is heavy.
誰が重いですって
And I remember when she came out, I believe it was during the pandemic. I don't remember exactly, but I know shipping was a nightmare. This thing cost so much in shipping because her box was big, especially during that time when a lot of terrible shipping companies were taking advantage of people. Whenever they could, left and right, they were making fortunes, and they were treating us very poorly as their customers. No, Eric, don't get started on the shipping. Not today. Do I think she's worth all that? Well, for me, absolutely. I love this character. She's one of my favorite characters, and this statue is one of my favorite statues, just because it looks so much like the illustration, and the illustration's one of my favorite, done by my favorite artist of all time. So it's definitely worth it for me. Hopefully this video helped you kind of decide if she's more worth it for you. As of the timestamp on this video, which I believe is February something or other 2024, there are no re-releases of her as of yet. Will they do one? I don't know. I feel like she's less popular than Prince Eugen, but who knows? She's so great, and she's more popular for me. I have to like the character. Azur lanes really like that. If you're playing the game and you don't care so much about the character, but you just really love the look and the design, well, then I'd say look a little bit harder. Check out a couple of other videos and pictures to really get a good idea from either other content creators or even on my figure collection, just so that you can really know what you're getting. So you'll just have to do a little bit more homework if you're still on the fence after today's episode. If you like my video just a little bit, doesn't cost much to hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell, so this way you'll be notified of future episodes that I come out with. And it goes a long way to help support my channel and move it into the future where maybe I can get more figures down the line. These things ain't cheap, but it's so much fun reviewing them. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye! Is she a maid? I don't think so. I mean, in the anime, I'm pretty sure she specifies that she isn't. But the decoupage, color, and design and look so much like the maids from Azur Lane's Royal Navy, so I don't know.
It's probably because this is the best boob bag here. No one else's even comes close and they're jealous.
Okay, I get it.
Thanks again, Kitagawa.